Hi, I'm Carol Anderson. Welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I have with us today Mark Anderson, our President and Chief Technology Officer. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
Mark, we've heard a lot this year about cloud computing. There's been a lot of hype. I'm curious to learn what your opinion of that is as it pertains to these MIS solutions.
Well, firstly, I break cloud computing into two main aspects. Firstly, there is a whole bunch of services available out there on the internet, in the cloud, if you will, that are services that MIS providers like us can integrate with to simplify some complex tasks. For example, we've just written an interface to a product called AvaTax, which is in the cloud tax management service that maintains all of the tax rates throughout the country, allows us to call it, send it information that's appropriate, and receive back the end result of the tax calculation without us having to worry about storing all of those tax rates for all the various states and localities throughout the country. Other examples of that are being able to validate addresses with, for example, UPS online tools. And there's many others. So there are a lot of task-specific in the cloud services that we're able to use today to take over some of the grunt work of some of the things we've been doing inside the MIS application for many years. The other aspect of that is being able to run the MIS application itself in the cloud. And that capability is here now. You are able to run EPMS MIS system on an iPad, for example, or run it remotely from a desktop at home or on a laptop on the road. And you're able to do this simply through using the remote desktop capabilities that are now widely available today. It doesn't really matter if you're running on your own server that you host yourself or you contract some third-party hosting company to manage it for you. The reality is you're able to run your MIS application in the cloud today. So that's how I see that right now.
As you know, EPMS has always been open to integration partnerships, and I'm wondering what you think the value proposition is for MIS vendors and their clients when these integration partnerships are in place.
Yeah, well, I can tell you not a week goes by that we're not working on some integration with some other industry vendor, whether it be a storefront solution or a workflow solution that drives production. The value of integrating your MIS system with these other systems is streamlining the flow of information and the workflow through the operation, from the front end all the way through to the back end and ultimately on to billing and accounting. There's a lot of different integrations that we have worked on and are currently working on, and we use a wide variety of techniques. In some cases, we use JDF. We've used the JDF MIS to pre-press spec to build an interface to products like Prinergy. In many cases, vendors will develop their own scaled-down subset of JDF and have their own version of that. Perfect example of that is Metrics XML. And so this allows us to integrate to those other partners without having to get into all the complexity that is JDF. On the other side, we have a lot of systems that want to be able to integrate to us. And for example, a lot of printers have third-party storefront solutions. There's many out there. I don't need to really name them. There's probably a couple dozen altogether. We've integrated with many of them. And the value proposition is that you don't want to have to rekey in orders that came in over your storefront. You want them to flow smoothly right into your MIS system without having to rekey it, so that the information is there and you can go right to a job docket and on into billing and accounting more smoothly. We do that with a product called EPMS Connect, which is our own web service, which can be installed on your own server, and storefront vendors can connect to that so they can submit orders to us, but also retrieve data easily out of our system, such as up-to-date job status, UPS tracking numbers that may be attached to the job, current inventory status. A lot of storefront solutions will have fulfillment items online, and they may want to be able to display the real-time inventory levels of those items coming from our system.
Mark, you've engineered and developed 3 very distinct MIS solutions in the years that we have been in business. What do you see as the future development for MIS?
Well, to kind of dovetail from the previous conversation and question, I see us continuing to work on more and more integrations and to improve on our existing tools to make it easier and easier for our users to be able to easily integrate to other systems. That's number one. Well, not necessarily in any particular order, but that's one important item. In the short term, we have a very important new module coming out, which will be our own CRM module. We've identified that it's extremely important for a full MIS system for this industry to have a fully integrated CRM module. It's a very important piece of our MIS system going forward. And I think that in and of itself will lead to more development, in the sales and CRM side of things. Other things that I see as really important going forward for us development-wise is to continue to make it easier and easier for people that are using our system to have information more readily at their fingertips without having to go look for it in the system. And I see that really coming to play more and more with continued development and improvements on our dashboard part of our system to make it more user-definable than it is now, more customizable, more flexible, and easier to implement. So dashboards are important now, but they're going to be even more increasingly important as we go forward. We also really see ourselves getting into mobile applications coming up. As we mentioned in the cloud computing discussion, we can run on an iPad now, the whole system. But we do envision in the not too distant future some smaller mobile device applications to allow people to look into the system in certain key areas like checking job status, getting quick pricing, and so on. So that's, those are the major advancements that we see coming in the short term in the next couple of years as well. It's really hard to predict beyond 2 or 3 years in this business, as you know.
Mark, thanks for sitting with me this afternoon and participating in the EPMS Tech Talk. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Well, that's another episode of the EPMS Tech Talk series. Thanks for joining us and look for more to come.